Welcome back to an all-new episode of Rich and Ben, the Sober Men, the podcast. Ben, it's lovely to see we're remote recording again because I'm over in Zurich in my hotel room. You can see the sunshine coming. I've got a little shadow on my face, Ben, so I hope that's okay. The sun is just peeking out.
You look angelic, Rich. It's beautiful.
Mate, thank you. You're very
and also,
kind.
Are you on the Graham Norton chair there as he moved to Switzerland?
Got my big brother chair. It's my hotel room. So
the sun is in the dairy room.
The sun is just peeking out over the building here. It's right on my face, but it's been lovely. The weather's been really, really lovely. So I hope it's not too distracting for all the people watching on YouTube. But Ben, here we are back for an all new episode. How are you doing? How's your week? All is good?
My week has been great. Rita's on the mend, which is good. The delivery van's flying, quite literally flying. And Rich, I'm getting some reviews, so we have to ask customers for reviews. It's so funny.
Oh, really?
And I'm getting more success and positive feedback than 25 years of an acting career. So I'm loving it. 5 stars across the board, mate. My favourite, I've just got to share this with you. And please note, this isn't me being like egotistical. It really isn't. I'm not that person at all, but it just really made me laugh. It was like, so here we go. They're anonymous. I don't know who it's from. It said, Ben was very friendly and delivered my parcel with care. He even said hello to my cat. Mate, I'm the Dr. Dolittle of the delivery world.
Mate, I'm a big feline fan, so it's nice to be nice to cats. They are lovely, but that's hilarious that someone actually put that in in a review for you.
Mate, it really tickled me. I was like, that is going on my wall, I tell you. That's the quotation of the decade. I love it. So, yeah, everything's really good. It's delivery rounds going well, loving it. As I mentioned last episode, the interaction I love. Rita's on the mend, which is good. All the meds are working. And yeah, I did actually do the odd day of extra work, of background work. So I was on the set of Corrie yesterday, Coronation Street. So I did a day in the bistro. I mean, I don't watch the soap, but if you're a fan of Coronation Street, you'll see me pop up at the back, which was great. Yeah, just reading what was I doing yesterday? Oh no, I wasn't. I was chatting to another guy. So yeah, just a guy in the bistro. It was great. And the lovely thing is, of course, I always check, but they gave us 2 pints to drink. And they're 0%.
Really?
I have to check. They're like, no, don't worry, it's 0%. So yeah, it's been a good week, Rich. And yeah, still waiting for a bit more sunshine, which you've got there by the looks of it. And Zurich, we're recording remotely. How's the tour? How is it there? Like I was there years ago when I was performing in Mamma Mia. Had you been there before?
Mate, I have been here before, and ironically, it was on the Mamma Mia International Tour that I was here before, like 15 years ago. And I was thinking, because Jem, my wife, she's here as well with me. She's been out for a week or so, just for a little break and stuff as well. And yeah, I was thinking we've seen quite a lot of Zurich in the last like 5 days. And it was reminding me when I was here 15 years ago, I didn't see any of the city at all. I literally stayed in the hotel because I was deep in my drinking career at that point. So I didn't see any of Zurich. I think I went to the lake like one time and then the rest of the time. And it would
always be like a token visit to anything water-based, wouldn't it? Just to tick it off the list. Like, oh, I'm all right, actually. I'm not getting too pissed all the time. I've seen some water. Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's the lake is lovely here, and so we've been down to the old town, and we've seen a lot of the all the traditional sort of Swiss buildings, and had some cheese and some chocolate. It's been fantastic. It's been really nice. But I was just thinking, I was here previously. I was staying in a hotel for 3 months when I was touring out here years and years ago, and I can't believe in those 3 months I saw barely any of the city because I was just working, and then I was going home and just drinking and partying, and then I was just staying in bed all day, sleeping with the curtains drawn and stuff, and now it's not like that. We've been out early. I played some football, and we've gone into the city. We've taken a walk around the lake, walked through the old town. Mate, it's been fabulous, and it's so nice to do that with a clear head. And then because I'm obviously working, so I'm going into the theatre of an evening time as well, and not feeling absolutely wrecked. Being able to enjoy my job, enjoy the city, enjoy getting up early, and it's fabulous. Really, really enjoying it out here, mate.
Oh, it's a great city, isn't it? And likewise, I did the Mamma Mia tour that I think you joined after me. God, we've got such a history with that show, haven't we?
I know.
But anyway, likewise, as I hinted last week in the episode, that all these amazing cities we went to, and likewise, I'd just be, I'd be really au fait with the hotel bars, but just wouldn't get out and about, go and see it, like you said, a token bit of water, tick it off the list.
It's
But I
true.
think in Zurich, this is really random, I think I did do some candle making on the river.
Candle making?
There was like a candle museum, or either this was really like a strong Swiss lager-induced dream or nightmare, perhaps. But I'm sure it was like, in my head, I was like Patrick Swayze in Ghost, when they're doing it on the potter's wheel. I think it was quite arousing making these candles. But yeah, isn't it great? And Rich, you're dead right. I was thinking the other morning, actually 2 occasions this week, it's really hit me with a bim bam boo-ha, how great it is to be sober, get up, get the day started. I've been busy working, but on Wednesday I drove down to the Cotswolds for my nephew's 21st. Probably one of the first occasions in a long time that I haven't showed up, when everybody's been their aunties and everybody cousins, where I haven't been hungover. That's bliss.
Nice.
Not to have that rancid, like, secretive life of getting drunk the night before, just to be there, present, fresh. Absolutely loved it. Such a joyous experience. And then, yesterday at Coronation Street, I was in Manchester. I live just outside of Liverpool, was in Manchester I was there for like 7:45. Just the whole day ahead, feeling fresh. And isn't it great? Especially, if, we're both stage actors, or Rich certainly is. I've kind of hung up my my equity card, really.
It's still there.
It's still there. There's a bit of dust on it, but it's still there, just about. But isn't it great, Rich, where you've had a full day, but you still got that energy to actually enjoy the job? Like, is that lovely for you? The contrast.
It really is, because the amount, I think we've spoken about this before, and it's the same for sort of anyone that, in any kind of working environment, going into work and being hungover or having no sleep, you're ratty, you're tired, you're not sort of accessing your full potential at that time. And it's just a struggle. Just getting through the day is a struggle. And, uh, we've been lucky that we've chosen a career that, listen, we know it has its ups and downs performing. There's a lot of time when you're out of work and you're sort of scrubbing around for a few pennies to, sort of pay the mortgage or whatever. But we are, for the most part, we do a career that we enjoy. So enjoy it. And the problem is that if you're adding a hangover and heavy drinking and late nights, maybe in our 20s we could cope with it a little bit better. I certainly couldn't cope with it now. I can't. And I get the fear, the anxiety, and I wouldn't be able to, I just wouldn't be able to enjoy my day.
Yeah.
And I enjoy now being sober, that I'm not just getting through the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, before, it was like, okay, right, here's the warm up. Right, okay, that's done. Okay, here's the beginner's call. Right, okay, got to get to, and it'd be the same in the office. Right, you travel into the office. Okay, the travel part's done.
Yeah.
Okay, right, I've just got to get through to the coffee break. Okay, that's that email sent. Do you know what I mean? Well, whatever it might be. And it's not like that today. It's so much better, because I can just enjoy what I'm doing. I can enjoy the people around me. I can have fun. I can still be professional and do my job to my best ability, and then leave and come home. And it's funny now, because there's a tram system here. By the way, the public transport system in Zurich is incredible. It's the city is so clean. If the tram says it's coming in 4 minutes, it's there in 4 minutes. And if it says
it's
it will
like
take
my sex life.
And if it says it's arriving in 13 minutes, it will arrive in 13 minutes. Again, like your sex life. And so,
likewise. I remember traveling across Europe, and it's like the trains are amazing. They're clean and they're bloody affordable. It's like,
exactly.
It's such a breath of fresh air.
I know, not to get too political. That's not what we're about on this podcast. But it just goes to show. Come on, UK. What is wrong with you? We can't do anything to budget on time. They have meetings about meetings and red tape. It's just fucking
Oh
ridiculous, and it
dear.
drives me mad. And it just goes to show that it is possible. But hey, that's a sidebar for
Yeah.
for another podcast,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Anyone
But
interested? The Sober Men will be appearing on BBC's Question Time next week.
yeah, but yeah, it's nice. So it's nice to get the
Yeah.
tram. I get the tram into
Oh,
work, and then
lovely.
I rush home. And like if
Oh,
yeah, I can walk it in about 25 minutes, but because I played football yesterday, I thought I've done enough. I've done enough running around. So I got the tram back. But I like now I have this little game with myself. Like, how quickly can I get back, have a shower, get settled with a cup of tea, and get an early night? And that
oh,
might sound boring to some people, but to be
no.
honest, it means when I wake up, like we're recording early on a Saturday morning here, aren't we? I was up, I was ready,
Yeah.
I had a shower, I made my food for the day, and now we're recording. And
You,
I
well,
would
you
pick that any day of the week.
you're starting the day on the front foot, and
Yeah.
there'll be so many of our listeners and our Sober Men community who love the buzz of just being settled. They've had a busy day. Could be a really stressful day, but just getting home as soon as you can, get the kettle on and
Mm.
relaxing and breathe. And then that beautiful feeling. Rich, likewise this morning, the contrast. Now, I was up this morning at 6. Listeners know, radio on, bit of LBC, coffee made, Betty's dog shit, boom, sorted. But it's just, then suddenly I was setting up the podcast, really excited about a lovely positive chat to help us, to
Yeah.
help our listeners and viewers. And then the full day ahead, I might go for a walk, probably go for a coffee.
Yeah.
It's bliss.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's wonderful.
I love Sober Saturdays. I really do. Also, on that point, Rich, I just want to share. We love and thank you as well for all our listener emails. My goodness, I've written down the email address this week, Rich, and if I get it right first time, I'm going to go out and get myself like a little trophy made. There's got to be some random trophy shop near here.
There will
It
be.
is, of course, the sobermenpod@gmail.com. Do write in. Remember, we're on TikTok, Instagram. Contact us, DM us. We love to hear from you. So this is from an email from a listener called Ron. Here we go. This is probably about 3 weeks ago. I'm loving the pod. I've always been a social drinker, cut down to just Saturday nights and special occasions, and have really improved fitness. Decided on Sunday morning I've had enough completely. I was the happiest I've been in years doing dry January, and then I just started again. 2 days down, rest of life to go. Thank you so much for the wonderful content. And that's from Ron. Ron, thank you so much. And a little
Thank you, Ron.
update, Rich, on the back of this.
Yeah.
As you said last week, anyone who messages in, if we think, oh, we'd love to share that because we think it could help us and help our listeners and viewers, we always check. We want all our listeners to feel comfortable that we're sharing their opinions on the podcast.
Yeah,
Ron
of
was
course.
delighted for it to be shared. And interestingly, he's an MD of a law firm.
Wow.
And so, of course, we come from a creative background, but when we discussed launching the pod, we wanted to hear from all facets of the sober community, didn't we? And it's just
true.
wonderful. And yesterday we touched base again because I just wanted to check it was fine to use his message today in the recording, Rich. And he was more than delighted. He is now 19 days sober. And
Well
I
done,
was
Ron.
like, Ron, wow, that is so good. He was off to the rugby with his mates last night. He was looking forward to not drinking. I gave him a little tip. I tried a Doom Bar 0% last night, like a pale ale, like an amber ale. It was lovely. So we've connected again through the podcast, just this connection. And how interesting that, he's in a high-powered position, but the heaviness of drinking, of excess alcohol or narcotics it really can affect everybody. And it's just so great that Ron has connected with the podcast, he's connected with us, we've connected. And you know what? He's feeling good this morning. He's off to do park run. And I genuinely was so happy for him mid my coffee this morning, just like, Ron, wow, you are going to have such a good Saturday. And that's just lovely to get that feedback. So Ron, thank you for letting us share your message. I'm almost 3 years sober. You're over 5 years sober. You could be 1 hour sober if you're listening, but we're here for you. It's a wonderful, happy place to be. And thank you for sharing that, because we know there'll be people listening be like, oh, I'm a bit like Ron, I'm in a stressful job. I think maybe I'm drinking a bit too much. I want a better life. I want clarity. I want to be more productive at work. And I want to have a happy, buoyant weekend, which Ron is completely having. I mean, hello, rugby on a Friday night and park run on a Saturday morning. Well done, Ron. I say be more Ron. Thank you, Ron.
Yes.
But isn't that great, Rich, to get this feedback really buoys us, doesn't it?
It really does. It is so nice because like daily we get emails, we get direct messages and stuff. And it's so nice to read every single one we read, and we reply to every single one as well, because as you said before, and as Ron has said as well, like to hear a podcast like ours, and there's plenty of other support networks online as well, and there's YouTube videos, all sorts of stuff. To know that it's helping people, and to know that someone feels confident enough to write in to say that we're helping, that's what we wanted to do. And it is, sounds like a very high pressure job. And I can imagine at the end of a stressful day, sort of, he's wanted to kick back and sort of numb those feelings and kind of release the day. But probably the next day will be equally as stressful. So if you're going back into the office on a bit of a hangover and not much sleep, that's not going to be as productive as it was. So yeah, it's so lovely. And I'm touched every week, that people write into us and tell us about their stories, and they sort of, they give us such positivity about how the podcast is helping them. And of course, as we said before, that in turn, it helps us as well. So, Ron, listen, I hope you enjoy the rugby. And listen, I know, Ben, you are a big fan of the park run. So have a good park run on the Saturday morning as well. And thank you so much for writing in. And it's please continue to keep your messages, your emails coming in. Ben, you say you've got the email.
I've got it, yeah. The sobermenpod@gmail.com. That is it. It's ingrained now. It's there for life.
That's right. So you can email us. You can also DM us on Instagram at the Sobermen Pod. That was Ron. Ron, thank you so much once again. So Ben, we're remote again, and as I said last week on the remote recording, we normally have in the studio a nice picture frame, don't we, on our coffee table, because we have our little regular feature, which we're going to do now, called Who's in the Frame.
And by the way, thank you to all. We've had quite a few new listeners, like hop in on episode 8. Don't forget, there are 7 episodes to catch up on. So they're in the same place wherever you get your podcasts. Watch us on YouTube. But
and so I've chosen superstar DJ Kelvin Harris, and I didn't know that he was sober, to be honest. And I read about his story, and it's quite an interesting one. So he's 8 years sober now, so well done, Kelvin. It's amazing. And that must be difficult. It must have been difficult for him, because obviously being in the DJ world, it's alcohol and it's drug fueled, isn't it? And like everyone's kind of like drunk, high, having a good time. And I think he felt that he fell into that pattern a little bit. And he kind of said that it was affecting his performances, and which is understandable, of course. And he said that as soon as he decided to make that decision to get sober, that his performances improved millions. That was actually the quote that he said. My performances improved millions, because when he was drinking, he said he couldn't remember if it was a good show or not. And obviously he's top level, isn't he? He's like right at the top of his game, and does remixes for lots of huge artists and stuff. And I'd imagine probably, again, as we said just now, in your earlier years, in your 20s, you can maybe cope with it as well. But I suppose he thought, I'm performing at a certain level here, and I need to maintain that. And if I continue to drink, it's gonna be it's gonna be curtains for me, and I'm not gonna be able to perform at that level. And so 8 years sober, Kelvin Harris, well done. He's in the frame this week. He's on the screen, as you can see right now. We will be back in the studio soon, so we'll have that beautiful picture frame that Ben provides for us. But for today, Kelvin Harris is in the frame. Ben, shall we get into today's topic? I thought this was an interesting one. Yeah, because so today's topic we're going to chat about is making friends with yourself again. Because I think during our drinking careers, and especially just before the time that we got sober, would it be fair to say that we got to a point where we just didn't like ourselves very much? A lot of fear, a lot of shame, and we didn't like who we were. We weren't friends with ourselves, and that was how we were feeling. Would that be fair to say for you?
Rich, 100%. As soon as I knew we were going to be talking about this during episode 9, I wrote down 3 words: hangovers with hate.
Oh, yeah.
That feeling when you're peeling your eyes open, strolling into the bathroom for the rancid, dehydrated morning piss, you look
Mm,
up into the mirror, and I would look like the Grim Reaper, a
yeah.
million miles away from how I wanted to look, how I wanted to feel behind that mask. And Rich, I would look at myself and just sigh, and I would be
Yeah.
so upset with myself instantly, like, I'd done it again. How am I feeling this shit again?
Yeah.
Looking into the mirror at the start of a day again, not on the front foot, immediately having to piece the night together. How negative. What a waste of time. That the whole point of being social is to enhance your life, enhance your happiness.
Yeah.
But for me, and I'm sure for so many listeners and viewers, that repetition, that constant self-hatred the following morning of what have I done,
Mm,
literally used to crucify me. How did I get to that stage again? What was it that I couldn't be like Tom, Dick, or Harry, just enjoy a few beers, wake up, be a bit cloudy, and be like, and just be open, like, oh, it's good fun last night, wasn't it? Just got pissed, move on.
yeah.
But the amount of time and hours I wasted in my life, this is why I enthuse about my new happiness now, Rich, about how joyous I feel when we hear from people like Ron who are getting that buzz that we get. The amount of time I wasted just berating myself, it was so exhausting, Rich. And
Yeah.
not for 1 minute do I ever want to feel like that again. Honestly, it was just crucifying, those wasted days, those hangovers with hate. What had I become?
Mm.
Awful, awful, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're out the other side of it
Oh,
now. And obviously it's awful to, as your friend to hear you talk like that, you hated yourself that much and you were sort of
yeah.
that sort of self-flagellation, that kind of thing. And I relate to it completely. I got to a point where I all the mirrors in I was living in London at the time, and all the mirrors in my house, I ended up hanging towels over them, and this was like, my mind was not there. I was not thinking straight
Wow,
because I just
Rich.
didn't wanna look at myself in the mirror. So if I went in the bathroom, I couldn't see myself. There was just a towel hanging on the mirror, in the hallway, there was a towel because I didn't wanna I didn't wanna I didn't want to see myself because then I had to analyze myself, and
Yeah,
I didn't want that, and it was horrible. And I think that I went through that period for many years, but I didn't know why. I didn't know why I hated myself so much. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't
yeah,
know. I just knew I didn't feel right, and I didn't feel. I wasn't. My brain wasn't engaged in the world,
yeah,
and because I was uncomfortable and I had all this shame and this fear, and as you said, what had I become? How would I got to a point where something, a substance, a drink, a drug, controlled me so much that couldn't I couldn't behave like, quote unquote normal people. I
yeah,
had to have this crutch. I had to have this thing that supported me. But the ironic thing is obviously it wasn't supporting me. It was damaging me further and further. And then that sort of spiral of shame and discomfort and essentially despising myself. I really hated myself. And I was still just about holding down a job. I was still
mm,
I was attending family events, but I wasn't
yeah,
really present. Friendships, we might have a coffee or something, but I wasn't really there because I was so consumed with myself and what was going on and unable to speak about it. So such a detrimental place to be for A, your mental state, for B, your relationships with other people, and C, sort of your relationships with the world in general. You're not present. And if you continue to just kind of beat yourself up all the time, no good can come from that. It's interesting. What do you think that sort of addiction and a reliance on a substance or a drink, what do you think? that does to your self relationship with you, your own relationship, like how you perceive yourself. What was it like before, Ben, and what was it like coming out of that?
Well, it completely drags you down, doesn't it? It's
Mm,
like a complete weight. It's the first thing you think about in the morning. Your whole life is geared towards either overcoming how shit you're feeling,
yeah.
and then once you've overcome it, you're back to neutral, which is
Mm,
how I start each day now, at a really
yep.
happy, solid place.
Mm,
And then it's once you've got rid of all the angst from the previous night or previous weekend, then you're wasting all that time about building up your happiness again. So it's
yeah.
a constant treadmill. It's like a hamster on one of those little wheels. You're just constantly fighting, constantly finding like your happiness, your neutral state of being, so you can cope with life, be it good, be it bad. It's so draining. It's so time consuming. And also the berating I used to do to myself, because I would know sometimes when I was going to the pub in the evening or a social event, I would have this feeling like, don't do this. Don't go, don't have that first pint. Don't do it
Right.
because I know how the next few days is going to be.
Mm,
So then when the inevitable happens and I've got pissed, I've got the fags on the go, I've woken up, I feel shit, I'm dealing with a rancid hangover. But not just that, I'm then dealing with the guilt of knowing that I've said to myself, don't put yourself in this position.
yeah.
So there are so many hoops to jump through before you feel in a place to be able to navigate life. I
Mm,
remember, Rich, I was rehearsing in Miami for Mamma Mia. Actually, we got through the first week. We'd done the final run through. Of course, it was like great. And I said to myself, I know there's going to be drinks tonight. I'm in Miami. You know, I'm not quite Don Johnson, although I'd quite like to be. More like, I don't know, just Domino. But it was kind of like I knew it's going to be a big night, and I said to myself, just pace myself. So I started off
mm,
with a few like Coronas, because like, oh yeah, Corona's a light beer, isn't it?
mm.
Bullshit. Corona's a fucking beer. Like, what? Just because you're supposed to drink, you can see the sunshine glinting through. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's a light beer. This isn't, I'm going to be fine on a few of these. Had a few of those. I can remember vaguely there being what I know for me is the devil's juice, which is red wine, Rich.
Oh, no, I
And
know.
then after that, blackout.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Woke up the next day with the heat. I can feel the sunshine, the Miami sunshine come through the shutters.
Mm,
Just like, I've done it again.
yeah.
But because I didn't know many people there, it was still quite early days, there
Mm.
was nobody that I could text for what I used to call clearance before I
Right.
could start
Yeah.
the day, just
Yeah.
like, oh, mate, just give me, like, I wasn't too much of a dick, was I? Like, then you get
Bit
that
of a
lovely
pep
text
talk.
back where it's like, oh, great, I'm okay. Like, I was
Yeah.
probably a bit of a dick, but I'm all right. On with the day. Fantastic. I've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
survived that when I've escaped again. So
Yeah.
there was nobody I could really message to say, was I all right? So then literally I had to go through that day with the raging hangover in the
Mm.
heat, second guessing people's reactions to me.
Oh, that's
Like,
awful, isn't it?
like, what had I said to them? Did I say anything to them? Were they even there? And I remember, Rich, it took, like, later that evening, I went to get a burger,
Mm.
just having to concentrate so hard on just walking to get some food to force this burger down me, with just not knowing what I'd said to people the night before.
Mm.
And that crucified me, because, again, I'd gone into the evening saying to myself, promising myself, I wasn't going to wake up feeling like this. And of course, I had done.
Mm.
What a dick. And Rich, that one, I remember it took me 2, 3, 4 days, I think, to get rid of the tingles, the dehydration, to
Yeah.
feel like I was in control, literally, of my mind again. And it was just
Yeah.
horrific. I remember running through the show. I think we did a run through again in the studio 3 days later, just ticking off the scenes,
Yeah.
like survived that one. Like you
Mm.
said, when you go to warm up, survive the show. You're not
Mm.
living, on the outside, you're in a wonderful job, but you know what? It's probably one of the toughest jobs I've had. That moment
Mm.
within the job was so tough because I'm just surviving. I'm not embracing. I'm not enjoying the job. I can't enjoy life. And
Mm.
I just was just full of shame.
Yeah,
And
I
I look back
understand that.
now and just such a waste. Those just texting people, the clearance text. Whereas now it's like, what is lovely, we mentioned in the last episode, I don't go out that much very often at all anymore, and I bloody love that. So I don't, I don't have to worry about anything, but add sobriety onto that. And
Yeah.
it's just joyous. And if I do go to an event now, the text the next day is like, it was so good to see you. Oh man, it was lovely. So it's all positive. You're on the front foot for the next day, as opposed to that weight of negativity of when you're
Yes.
drinking and the shame and just that wasted time of piecing the night together so you can move on with your life. It was so tough. It was like the feeling of the build up. It was almost like the build up to a night out,
Mm.
knowing there was going to be that inevitable fall. That
Yeah.
was before that happened. It was torturous.
Mm.
And 3 years ago, pretty much 3 years ago, I made the decision not to have that life anymore, not to have that in my life anymore.
Mm.
And it's without doubt, Rich, to get rid of all this negative feeling in your body, in your life, in your existence, to get rid of that crap. It's just like, oh man, and it opens up such happiness. We've said it on every episode, Rich, haven't we?
Mm.
You're living life on life's terms. Yes, you have problems, but you're just in a better position to overcome everything. But ultimately, you feel happy.
My journey was slightly different because you said then that you were going to an event or you were going for a night and you were saying to yourself, don't put yourself in this
Yeah.
position. Don't.
Yeah.
And
I
that
knew.
you knew. Yeah. See, that is a positive, although it didn't end positively those evenings. That thought, I would say, is a positive thought because you knew something needed to change and
Yeah.
you needed to not put yourself in those situations. My experience was I'd go, oh, fuck it, I'll worry about it tomorrow. And that was my issue, you see. And so
Yeah.
I would go, do you know what? I just want to go. My brain was telling me, I want to get drunk. I want to get high. Don't worry about it. You can deal with it tomorrow. You've dealt with it before. It'll be fine. And then of course the next day comes and and that's when I would say to myself, why did I do it again? Why did I do it again? And
Yeah.
it's really interesting listening to you there because when we talk about knowing what a drink is going to do to you, if it's excessive, and knowing what a drug is going to do to you, and knowing what a hangover is going to feel like, and knowing what the
I
situations you're going
don't
to
know
put
why
yourself
I'm
in.
laughing.
I know
It
because
fucking
but
killed me for years.
I know, but we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And yet we still do it, and that
Yeah.
is, well, for me, I know I'm an addict, and my brain works
Yeah.
that way. I have that phenomenon of craving, and I want to, and I can't stop it. I can't turn it off. That's why I have to protect myself from taking that first drink, because once I take that first drink, it's
Yeah.
protecting myself against that, because I know that all bets are off after that. And then of course that spiral of self-hatred and
Yeah.
disappointment and shame is
But also,
just
Rich,
so
it's like,
traumatic.
yeah, it's dramatic, it's tiring. But also, did you find that it's also insular because of the shame, the
Yes. Yeah.
self-shame? And
Yeah.
also, I didn't want to share that with anybody.
Yeah.
Because
Embarrassed.
I didn't want people to know that I was embarrassed. I just remember, Rich, that suffering was so insular, and that was an absolute killer. Just not being able to share with people, with my friends, even because I was just so embarrassed. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And then you've got that harsh inner voice, isn't it? That's telling you, oh, I've messed up again. I'm a bad person. I'm weak. I'll never change. What am I going to do? Everyone else seems to, then that next day, it seems that everyone else, yeah, there might be a few hangovers, but it seems on the surface that everyone is fine. And you're like, God, I feel worse than everybody else. And you're probably not. You're probably not feeling any worse than anyone else. It's just that your inner dialogue is telling you you're a terrible person. It's just a spiral of shame and self-loathing, and it's just an awful place to be. And I don't miss that feeling at all. And I'll go I'll go home. Like there was there was an opening night party, which I didn't attend, just because I was a bit tired, and I thought, you know what, I don't have that fear of missing out anymore, and I know I've been to lots of those events, so I know how that will go. And I don't really want to stand in a hot room with an orange juice making small talk. I'd rather go home, spend a bit of time with Jem, watch an episode, and get an early night. And again, as I said earlier in the episode, that may sound boring and uninteresting, and I can go to those events if I want to. It's just that my the feeling I have of wanting to attend those events is less than it was before. Before I was like, brilliant, I want to go. Right, I'll have a couple of quick beers, and
Yeah.
like on a flight. My
Yeah.
routine being on a flight used to be, soon as the doors shut and they would come around, right, I'll have a Bloody Mary and I'll have a beer. And I'd literally neck the Bloody Mary, and then the beer would be like I'd slowly drink it. And it's just those
Yeah.
kind of, and that was the same at an event, and I don't miss that now. And it took a while to stop missing that. And now I can, as I said, I can go to an event and enjoy conversation, and I can enjoy a soft drink or a coffee or whatever. But it's just better for me to not put myself in those situations where, as we said before in other episodes, everyone's slowly getting drunk and the conversation is repetitive, and you're like, do
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna look ahead, which
Yeah.
is what I couldn't do before. I couldn't look ahead of what it was going to turn into. Well, that's probably the wrong thing to say, because I did know what it would turn into,
Yeah.
but I thought I'd worry about it the next
Yeah.
day. But that worry and that stress the next day, it was awful, and I don't want to be in that situation again.
It's so
And what
funny,
you
Rich, what you said about the plain drinks. Likewise, it would be, because I'd seen Roger Moore do it on some advert in the 80s, whatever. I'd have the Bloody Mary, then I'd
Yeah,
have the beers, then I'd move on to the red wine, and I would get to my destination just feeling awful, just like not,
yeah,
still a bit pissed, starting to get hangover,
mm,
rancid breath, and just like, arriving in a new place, look, potentially being able to explore and have a great time, just again, just battling off the the effect of alcohol. And
yeah,
also, what I loved there, what you said as well, Rich, when you are suffering after a party or the day after a session, looking at other people, thinking, God, why can't I be like that? Why can't I just
yeah,
have a normal hangover? Why is it just me with this voice in my head berating myself, beating myself up? Whereas, you're dead right, they were probably doing similar, maybe not to the same extent, but
yeah,
if there's anything to be said about waking up and you are with a group of people you were with the night before, just be open and sex. Even then, I remember I'd be like, oh, I'm fine, feel good. I'd be feeling like shit. Why didn't I just say, oh God, I feel rancid. What the fuck was I on last night?
yeah,
Because then you can get help, you can get advice from people, from your friends, and start to chip away and maybe alleviate what I used to do, which was just berate myself inside my head by myself for
mm,
days and days and days. It's
yeah,
other people do suffer, and again, it's even in that suffering period, if you can get out what's in your head, it could help. It really could help.
yeah. It can, and it's as we've said before, it's taking the power
Yeah.
out of it, suffering in silence, hating on yourself, berating yourself. It's like it's no way to live. And it is difficult, because if you're in that spiral and that's your pattern and that's your routine, it is difficult to pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you. Why is it, do you think it's inbuilt within us? Are we a certain type of person that turns on us? When you turn on yourself, and because you wouldn't. It was once said to me. It was in a therapy session, actually,
Yeah.
and it was once said to me, you wouldn't speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself. Would you be that, like, vicious and nasty, outwardly to a friend of yours, the way that you speak to yourself in your inner voice? And you wouldn't, would you? You
No.
wouldn't be nasty and tell them that they're useless and pointless and they've got no value. You wouldn't speak to a friend like that,
Yeah.
or anyone like that. And yet we are so conditioned to be like that to ourselves. Do you think that's learned behavior? Is it school? Is it family environment? Like what is it? What stops us from having that sort of self-preservation, do you think? Or is it a multitude of
I
things?
think it's a multitude of things. I think ultimately, when one does berate oneself, like I used to do, Ben,
Mm,
I remember saying, "You fucking dick," under my
yeah.
breath like that. "You fucking dick. You've done
Mm,
it again." Oh,
mm,
it like echoes. I can feel it. I can feel how it makes me feel. It actually makes me feel really uncomfortable just saying that.
yeah.
But you're talking to a stranger. You're not talking to the real you. You're not talking
Mm,
to the person who knows they're a good soul inside, knows that they love their friends and family dearly. You're talking to the person that alcohol or drugs has made you become.
yeah.
And it's very hard because you know that's not you. But when that addiction has gripped you, when that problem has overcome or it's overcoming your life and existence, that's just how it is. You do just berate yourself, and
Yeah.
because there was never any of that in my family growing up. It was always kindness and love between each other, between the generations. It's with all, like you said, with my friends. I pride myself on being a really nice bloke,
You
and
are.
I would never talk to anybody like that
Yeah.
ever. So why myself? And the only explanation I have, it's because deep down, rooted inside me, I knew that alcohol to me was a poison.
Yes.
It was making me deeply unhappy. It wasn't enhancing my life. It wasn't enhancing moments for me. It was an escape for my deep rooted unhappiness. I
Yeah.
didn't need it. Rita could see it. Like when I had my hair transplant and the doctor said 4 weeks no booze, she said to me straight away, "You won't drink again."
Really.
Because she
I think
could
you said
see.
that before, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm pretty sure
remember
I
that.
have. Yeah, so apologies for repeating, but that echoes with. She knew just like that. You won't drink again.
Mm,
So from somebody who knew me inside out, who loved
yeah.
me, who cared for me, who only wants the best for me, she could see that alcohol was my poison. And that's
Yeah.
the person you're talking to when you are in the grip of it, the grip
Yeah.
of this awful disease. That's the person you're talking to. You're not talking to the person you are now. So,
Mm,
yes, if you can address it and combat it, like touch wood, I am 3 years
mm,
in, and you find the real you, the real happiness, you can say goodbye to that person.
yeah. You
Because
can.
looking back, there was nothing within my family environment. There wasn't that nobody would speak to that. That's how I was brought up. That's what I pride myself on now, being
Mm,
a nice chap, polite, having empathy, being courteous, being polite. And how awful that just a few drinks of that poison that on the outset is going to make you feel so good can just
yeah.
turn on you and make you
Mm,
feel so unhappy. And yeah, I don't miss that person that I used to talk to or the
yeah.
voice in my head that used to talk to that person. It was like
Yeah.
two complete strangers. The voice in my head talking to the piss Ben, and that's not me. This is the real Ben, the Ben who laughs on his podcast at his shit jokes.
I laugh at them too.
Who now is holding his mic because he can't fix a mic stand. You know, look at me. I'm like a slightly clean shaven Kenny Rogers. I'm going to give it Islands in the Stream, but this is me. And this is what I love why I love sobriety, why I love enthusing about this beautiful life that we have. It's not the person who used to berate himself for 4 days because he got pissed and was
Mm,
full of shame.
mm,
So that person can go and has gone. And for anyone listening, just stick at it. I promise you,
yeah.
stick at it. Life, again, life, it can be really, really lovely and happy. How
Yeah.
about you, Rich? Can I turn it on to you? Just like,
Yeah.
did you have a moment ever
I
where
well,
you were kind of like, I'm, I'm just, I'm sick of this. Was it a build up? I know you joined AA during lockdown, but was there one specific moment where you thought, I'm done. I am done.
well, it was specific moment was about 20 minutes into my first meeting. I soon realized that these people that were talking had, the same issues and the same troubles that I could identify with. and I needed complete abstinence from everything, and that was what was going to turn my life around. Excuse me. And they could give me the tools to help me start doing that. But I think, and I don't know whether this is related to what we do as a job, possibly because, going into auditions, 95% of interviews that we go into just end up with complete silence and not getting the job right. So I would always strive for absolute perfection as a person, and that's impossible for anyone. And if I didn't get a 10 out of 10 in everything, which no one ever achieves, I would destroy myself internally and be like, you're useless, you're pointless, you've got no, and then I'd numb that feeling with drink and drugs. And so that was a spiral. And that showed me on that meeting, and then getting into the AA, that was, you can't live your life like that. And it was possible to re kind of balance yourself and re-control how you feel about yourself on the inside. But I think I'm predisposed. My belief myself is that I'm predisposed with the addictive gene. And I think if I don't put positive steps in place to make sure that I keep myself leveled, that I will find, if I'm searching for a high or something that makes me feel better than just, feeling, again, quote unquote, normal, I will always find that path, which is destructive, so that's why it's important to get out in the fresh air, have a clear head, and make sure that I don't find myself going down something that's going to negatively impact my health, my mental state. So I think I'm predisposed with that, I think. And so it took me a while to work that out. I think for finding perfection is impossible. And I think I probably, I saw this written down, that trying to be hard on yourself all the time is motivation. But to be a little hard on yourself and go, right, strive and try to achieve is great. But if you're continuously trying to, be hideous to yourself and say nasty things as a way of motivating yourself, I think that's destructive. So that's what I had to get myself out of that headspace to try and move forward with my life and be more productive and just find a bit of inner peace and a bit of calm. What does making friends with yourself actually mean again? Because for me, it's not ego, it's not arrogance. It's just meaning that you can find a way to sort of trust yourself again and make peace and be safe in your own company, and try to change that inner dialogue from, instead of saying, I hate myself, try to change that inner dialogue to, I'm struggling, but I'm trying. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. And also, it does take a while when you do find sobriety, because for years and years, because I would be beating myself up and have that self-hatred of like actually having that feeling of I am decent, I'm all right, and also being able to accept the calm, being able to accept that I'm allowed to sit here with a coffee and not feel negative things, not be worried about who I might have upset, not be worried about life, not have that anxiety about what things could go wrong tomorrow or in the future. Just being able to have that feeling of being able to sit and be, okay, I'm okay here. And it's also that feeling as well, like you say, you always like with auditions and interviews, you want to be 100% on it. You just can't be like that as a human, can you? Like I've always wanted to be loved by people, but I'm not going to please everybody. And when you realize the core of you, when you have stripped away alcohol or drugs, and when you know the core of you, it gives you that little bit of inner steel, that little bit of confidence to know that you're not going to please everybody, to know that you're not going to be everybody's, kettle of fish. But when you do have that self-comfort and you start to love yourself again, it's okay to sit and just be. Just be.
Yeah.
Have your boundaries in place, and that's okay. You don't have to impress everybody all the time. Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that. And if you put that pressure on yourself, that's causing stress for you anyway, And so I think that looking back, the pressure I put myself on to be the life and soul of the party, to be loved by
Mm,
everybody, chuck in the booze as well, chuck in life as well. What a lethal
mm,
cocktail. And now slowly I've stripped
yeah.
these things away from my existence and I can just sit with
Mm.
myself. And I know from the feedback we get, Rich, from listeners and viewers, I know that there are other people out there who feel exactly the same as us when they've just given themselves, they're putting the building blocks in place in their life just to be content, to be able to sit, to be with themselves and not to hate themselves. And that feeling is lovely. It takes a while. You have to chip away, but it's there, isn't it?
It's very true. And it's doing things that help you respect yourself. Again, those small things, as we always say, exercise, showing up, making an appointment with someone and keeping to that appointment, being
Yeah.
on time, being honest. It's those things, those sort of small achievable things
Yeah.
that help you respect yourself again and help you like yourself. It's about forgiving yourself, not necessarily excusing everything, because we all do things that we're not proud of. We all might say things we're like, oh, I shouldn't have said it like that, or I should have been a bit more sensitive or whatever. Forgiving yourself for that and being accountable, but also being able to move past that without continuously sort of berating yourself for, you can't live in that mindset forever, because it is, it's so destructive. You
Yeah.
you can't you can't build a new life without, whilst you're constantly, sort of punishing yourself for the
Yeah.
previous life, isn't it?
And
It's
it's kind of like, it's that, what I love now is that I'm not letting myself down. If I make
yeah,
an appointment, unless something awful has happened, unless something, life has got in the way, I'm not
yeah,
letting people down. I'm there. I'm remembering things like birthdays and just little. I remember like appointments. I'm using a diary. My life's in place. I've got a timetable. When for a long time it was like, higgledy piggledy, and it's lovely when you just, again, you're at peace with yourself and you're not letting yourself down, because that stops the berating and that gives you a lot of self-love as well, where it's like, I'm getting through, life here. I'm doing all right.
yeah. No, I agree, and it's true. And little nugget, just sort of little, a little closing thought I have on that is that I read this and it said, make a promise to yourself this week that you keep. However big, however small that might be, make a little promise to yourself. I will do this. I will go there, whatever it might be, and keep that promise to yourself. It's an achievable task. It's something you've set yourself out to do, and then you complete that. And it's a little building block, a little Easter egg of help, or a little tip that might help for anyone that's struggling or has the same feelings that we've got or we had. If you make that little promise to yourself and keep it, like you could say, I'm going to make my bed every day within half an hour of getting out of it, and keep that task. That gives you a little bit of fulfillment. I know it sounds silly and it sounds small, but it's just those little tiny things that they don't have to be huge. And I think that can help you. That's like, oh, I've set myself a task, I've made a promise, I've honored that. And it's a little start to me being kinder to myself, and liking who I know I can be, or who I once was. What do you think about that?
I like it. I'm going to do that, but I can't share it with you. I might tell you next week in the episode what my promise was to myself, but I'm going to do that for sure. That's a hey, welcome to
That's,
Rich's Task of the Week.
there we go.
I like it, mate. I like it.
I enjoyed that chat, Ben. That was
I
nice, making
did.
friends with yourself again. It's been really good, and it reminds us of, how we used to be and how we used to feel, and it's always good because it reminds us of how we felt about ourselves and how we changed, kind of our internal dialogue and how we feel about ourselves now. So hopefully, someone listening out there might be able to take a little nugget from what we've said, and start putting into place, those little tiny things that help them be kinder to themselves, which we all should be. We've been talking for best part of an hour, almost an hour, Ben. I'm getting a little thirsty. Let's do our regular feature, drink of the week. So it's really good. As I said, the transport system is really good here, but also the supermarkets are fantastic. Some great stuff. So I thought, like last week we were recording remotely, we both had that the same shot, didn't we? The turmeric shot, which was lovely from Aldi. So because we're away, we can't have the same drink this week. So what I've decided to do is get a Swiss drink, which is our drink of the week. So if anyone's popping out to Switzerland at any time, you can try this. Now, I'm going to show it on the screen, but I'll talk about it as well just for the audio listeners. So this is called Rivella. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. I'm holding it up to the screen. So Rivella, there's all different flavors. This is a Rivella Zero. Now, so I'm told this is Switzerland's national soft drink. So it's a very popular drink out here. I have tried it before, but I'm going to try it again, and I'll tell you what it feels like. So it's a fizzy one. It's a zero one. So Rivella Zero, Swiss national soft drink. Let me try it for you. It is really it's a really interesting taste. It's hard to explain it. So it's a very light tasting ginger beer taste, if that makes sense. And it's got a little bit of lemon in it. It's mildly fizzy. It's not really fizzy like a Diet Coke or a Sprite or something, but it is very refreshing. And it's quite reasonably priced as well. You can get it in all the supermarkets, all the corner stores in Zurich. And it is, I'll have another little taste here. And it's a refreshing, gingery, beery, lemony, soft, refreshing drink. So if anyone comes out to Zurich and they fancy something soft to drink on their travels, get on the Rivella. Very nice. That's our drink of the week, our Swiss drink of the week this week. So that was episode 9 of Rich and Ben, the Sober Men, the podcast. Ben, episode 9. We're near next week, episode 10. As you said, double figures.
Yeah.
We're nearly there on that magic 10. And as you said earlier in the episode, there are 9 other episodes that 8 other episodes you can go and listen to. And if you're new to the pod, please do that. And as we always say on the podcast and every other podcast and every YouTube video, please like, subscribe and follow. If you follow, the episodes get sent straight to your phone, and it really helps us. It helps our outreach to reach more people and hopefully help more people on their sobriety journey. Ben, are you going to have a lovely afternoon relaxing today?
Yeah, nice and chill. No work this afternoon, but lovely pod in the bag. I'm going to go for a nice walk with Betty, our lovely little Cocker Spaniel. And if I've got some energy left, I might head over to Zurich and come and grab a Rivella and take you candle making, Rich.
Have a Rivella. Mate, I'll see you on the next episode.
Love it, Rich. Take it easy.